Oh, yes, that's more like it. The first 3 points in the bag of the brand new season. Steve Gibson, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Welcome back to Where Rams Walk. Oh, yes, it feels good to have Championship football back at Pride Park. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to Where Rams Walk. We have assembled the very best of Derby County social media to review the whole season with us. Welcome Peyton, John, Darren, Chris, Simon, and Tom to our channel. We're going to go straight into the game and review that 1-0 Boro win. Peyton, we'll start with you if we can. First of all, the atmosphere around Pride Park, certainly coming through on the telly, sounded fantastic. Was it as good as it sounded live on the TV?
I mean, it was definitely, I think, better. I mean, we were so behind the team. I think more than even we were against Bolton last season. Everything they threw at us, you know, every little save Josh Vickers made, every time he caught the ball, celebrating like we scored, you know. They scored an offside goal and we were celebrating it like we'd scored. You know, it was quality.
Yeah, John, it's good to have Championship football back at Pride Park. Was sometimes in League One that the away fans don't make it an atmosphere, but that was something special, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Middlesbrough fans, they're always make some noise when they come to Derby. Wherever you go, you know, you're in a high division, and you've got the bigger clubs in that league. So, yeah, I mean, the game. I mean, everything went right for us. We scored at the right time, a gift from their corner, because at the time they were quite strong, and particularly down the middle of the park. But what I liked is that our game management was spot on with the low block. Ben Osborne in particular, he just came into the middle and screened that back four and stopped their central threat coming in. And then I felt that we were also showing them wide, which restricted them. So all that Middlesbrough had to do was shots outside the box, which Vickers was comfortable with, and forcing them wide forcing it wide allowed them just to cross into the box, which with our height we were comfortable. So we restricted them, and it was a very hard smash and grab at Pride Park. That's what it was.
Yeah, Darren, there were lots of Boro fans saying that, you know, had they got the shooting boots on and if they hadn't been so wasteful, then that would have been a whole different story. Do you subscribe to their view that Derby were lucky in hanging on?
So I wasn't at the game. I watched it on Sky Plus. It was almost like the best and the worst of what Paul Warne brings to Derby at the same time. It's like the energy, you know, I mean, it came through on the TV. The energy of the players and the organisation is fantastic. I mean, he's a fitness first guy. He wants to outrun other teams, and you could see how Derby were just, you know, they were like fighting man for the cause, which is beautiful. But the Middlesbrough fans have got a point. I mean, I've got the stats here in front of me, which I'm sure those who are at the match will know. Middlesbrough had 70% of the possession, you know, so Middlesbrough were almost playing like the home team, and we were playing like the away team. And that seems to be a theme of Paul Warne's management style. And yeah, it's a brilliant, you know, 3 points. I mean, I checked the odds today. Middlesbrough are third favourites to go up 8-1. So, you know, we've beaten the third favourite team according to the bookies. So you take the points all day long, but it was almost like an away counter-attacking sort of performance.
Chris, the problem that has been given now in the goalkeeping position, as many fans were saying, is that Vickers has to keep the shirt now based on that performance. And unfortunately, you've just gone and signed a goalkeeper who's 6'6", and you know is predicted, I think, by many to be your number one. But can't take the shirt off Vickers, can he?
It's a ruthless league, Mark, and they will take the shirt off him. Ultimately, you've got an Astra there that's running well, but if you're given a Ferrari, you know which one you're going to jump into when you go around the racetrack. Zetterstrom isn't here to sit on the bench, and I think Vickers knows where he's at. He's got a very strong mind, as Josh is a great guy, and I think he did well. It wasn't an amazing performance that he did yesterday. He it was his fault that Cashin got injured. He should have come out for that ball, but he did what he had to do yesterday. He got man of the match, I think, out of 11 guys that played really, really well. And but Zetterstrom will be a mark, without a doubt.
Okay. Simon, lots of people are saying that the Chesterfield result helped with Boro. You actually grew in confidence in both games. And just talk us briefly about the Chesterfield result. What did you learn about your team, in particular, individuals that stood out for you?
I still didn't think we looked very good coming off the back of the Blackburn game in the Chesterfield match. But there was one or two individuals that did stick out, yeah.
Tom, for you, who's impressed the most then in the last 7 days for Derby?
I think Callum Elder deserves a shout just for the Boro performance alone. But Curtis Nelson, I was a little bit worried about him because he was so standout last season in League One. I was a little bit worried about him stepping up because he's tried Championship before and not been very good. Whether that's down to system he's played in or teams he's played in or what, I don't know. But Championship did seem a little bit of a cut above him, but he was absolutely solid yesterday. And obviously scored against Blackburn. So
yeah. Have a look at these views then that came through on social media. I want to get you to see whether you agree with them or not. Some of them we've already kind of asked about. Peyton, the first one I struggled with, but it goes along with kind of what Darren was saying before. There was nothing satisfying about that match for me. Yes, we won, but we were hanging on for most of the match. Sitting that deep as a home team is just shocking, negative, defensive, and you can read the rest for yourself. Is that grossly unfair, that point of view?
I disagree. I don't see how Middlesbrough, what Darren was saying, third favourite team to go up. You know, we're down there as one of the favourites to go down. We haven't got the quality that Middlesbrough have. They've got faster, stronger, better footballers. And we've got, you know, a 32-year-old Sonny Bradley who, got promoted from the Championship 2 years ago, but he's definitely not Championship quality as he was then. We've got players who haven't been proven at that level, and we're not that good of a side. We've got to defend better than every team, because if we don't concede, we don't lose. You know, we draw every game 0-0, we stay up. That's the, you know, 1-0 wins are great, 2-0 wins are great. You know, we could win 8-0 for all I care, but 1-0 and 8-0 give the same amount of points.
All right. John, the second one, as we've already kind of talked about, George Vickers has to keep the number one shirt after that. And then there's a comment here about the refereeing, which came up quite a lot. What's your take on this refereeing? The goalkeeping business. Does he get to keep it for another week?
Well, it's a tough one because you can look at it both ways. But don't get me wrong, I'm really pleased for Josh because he's had a hard year and he's come in and he did a job. I thought all the saves were comfortable because we made the saves comfortable. But I have to agree with Chris. We've got to stay in this Championship. If we feel Zetterstrom has been brought in for a number one, 6'6". Especially, I've seen his videos. He looks like he's a good goalkeeper. You have to play him because that's, you know, I know it's harsh, but we're here to win games of football. I know Saturday was what it was, but we've got to stay in this league. For me now, it's Project 50 points. That means we've got to win 13, 14, go win another 12, 13 games. So, Vickers, you've done well. Thank you. But let's get him in. Or at the very worst, play him in the Watford game and then bring him in for the Boro game. And then away we go.
Okay. And the final one was Darren was about got to win ugly to stay up. The stats, as you mentioned, are a bit of an eyesore, but my eldest said the only stat that counts is the final score. We've talked about this, and I hope we aren't talking about this every single week, but the style of play, the football isn't pretty to watch at times. But do you honestly care if I told you now that you could finish 21st and you have to watch some turgid football for 44 games? Would you take that?
Yeah, I think listening to Peyton and John, I completely agree. Peyton and John are sensible fans. They're sensible. They understand that we are, it was a couple of years ago, we was in administration. We're rebuilding. We're literally going to have to learn on the job. And so I understand you're going to have to win ugly. I get that. And I'm watching it yesterday. I was so relieved at the final whistle. My worry is there may be a body of fans who may start to turn. Because if you're playing at home, like the away side, I mean, I feel like we're going to be better geared up to play away. That's what I said before the Blackburn match. I mean, it didn't turn out to be true, of course, but that we might be better suited to playing away and counter-attacking. You haven't got the home pressure so much. But it's whether the fans are going to start getting disgruntled and making a few noises, because whilst everything everyone's saying about yesterday, the whole backs to the wall performance and, putting the badge first, it's wonderful. It's great to see, but it can be a bit of a hard watch as well. So, yeah, I'm with John and Peyton, but are the majority of fans going to be happy week after week? I'm not so sure.
Okay. It's Watford next then, Chris. They've turned over Stoke quite handsomely, and they won away at Millwall. Would you take a point here at Vicarage Road now?
Absolutely. Hopefully, we'll change the system as well and go 4-4-2. I'd keep cashing out. I'd keep Bradley in. I disagree with my friend above me regarding Sonny Bradley. Sonny Bradley is better in the Championship than League One, and he's certainly played better yesterday than people expected because he can play at this level. I think actually the injuries to Wilson and Cashin were in our favour because the system suits Bradley and Nyambi better. I think he'll bring Ibu Adams in to make it a 4 and he'll play top. Jerry Yates is back and he's going to be chomping at the bit. Don't be surprised if Derby take a 1-0 win with a Yates goal on the 4-4-2.
Get my coupon ready for that one. Simon, we're asking throughout the season about positions. We did goalkeepers last week, and just as we were speaking about goalkeepers, you went to the signed one. So we'll talk about central defenders this week. Simon, for you, are you short in this area? Is that the most obvious question I was going to ask you?
Yeah, I'd say we are. I was looking forward to seeing Jake Rooney. It's a bit unfortunate that he's going to got another injury. It would have been a good player. It would have been like a new signing, I think, having him come back. But yeah, I'd like to see 1 or maybe 2 more come in before the end of the window.
If everyone's fit, again, silly question, but who do you expect to see as the pairing, the strongest pairing throughout the season here? In terms of their relationship and understanding with each other?
Agreeing with Chris, like Sonny Bradley is perfect in this league, and yesterday he showed that. And him and Curtis Nelson, you couldn't take Curtis Nelson out of this team, I think. So they'd be my 2 at the back.
Yeah, they have the highest average age of any starting central defenders in the whole league. They're no spring chickens. Do you think they can go through a 44-game season, Tom, without injury at that age?
Without injury, possibly, yeah, but they're just not good enough. In my opinion, Cashin has to be in there. Cashin is, to be fair, I think Cashin is just clearly a better footballer than Bradley in pretty much every respect. Even though Bradley's about 6 inches taller than him, I don't think he wins many more headers or aerial duels than Cashin does. Cashin's a lot better passer. He's probably a bit quicker, and I think he's stronger. For a man as big as Bradley, he's like a Rizzler paper sometimes. He gets brushed off by small attackers so easily. If you can't tell, I don't really rate Bradley very highly.
Which 2 for you then, Tom? Just gets a nod.
Cashin and Nelson all day long. They provided us 20 clean sheets last season. So obviously Wildsmith was in that as well, and obviously he's gone now, and he did play a part in that. But central defenders are imperative in the Championship, and they're the best 2 that we have, so they have to play.
All right, fair enough. All right, last little bit for you then, some added time. Well, ask you the Premier League is back this season, which is of course the aim where you want to get to. Let's get your views on, get your predictions on that. All right, Peyton. Who's going to win the Premier League?
I hope Arsenal, but not looking likely.
John, who's going down? Give me one name.
Nottingham Forest.
Slipped off the tongue too quickly there, didn't it? Darren, add to that. Forest and
Teams that have come up, I think Ipswich.
that'll do. Chris, give us a third.
Everton.
Okay, I'm not talking to you anymore. Simon, if Derby were to go up this season, which two other teams would you like to go up with?
Oh, I'd say Sheffield United and Burnley.
Oh, you friends now, are you? And finally, Tom, VAR obviously in the Premier League is one of the has been commented a lot on Sheffield United already as being something they're enjoying not having in the Championship. Do you feel that the Championship, from what you've seen so far with the officiating, needs VAR?
Ooh.
You had a really bad referee. Let's be fair, didn't you? Against
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a tricky one because it doesn't really. I don't really feel like it contributes to much other than offsides. Sometimes I don't really think we need anything else other than goal line technology. I don't really see what it actually contributes to the game. So probably it's a bit backwards because obviously the officiating in the Championship and League One and lower is awful, and obviously VAR is there to help. But I also kind of feel like it's not necessary.
Okay, you much prefer being able to enjoy a goal, knowing it's a goal.
The amount of times a goal will go in or something, and like my dad will turn to me and be like, "That'd be ruled out with VAR" or stuff like that. So it would be a bit of a buzzkill.
We'll remind you of that when you get your first dodgy goal given against you this season. All right, enjoy your trip to Watford, you lot. Thank you very much for coming on and reviewing it. Like I said, this is obviously brand new. We know there's lots of Derby content out there, but this is the sharpest and quickest review of all things Derby. We've got 2 weeks in the transfer window, so next week we'll be talking to you about what is needed to happen, and then we've got a little international break, haven't we, coming up as well. So we'll look forward to also reviewing left backs and right backs with you next week as well, and get your views on that. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the Watford game. We'll see you next week. Cheers, fellas.